Alright, the next problem we're going to do is for Chapter 3, Section 1. It is number 18 on page 132. We are looking at linear functions. The linear function h of x equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. For part A, we are told determine the slope and y-intercept of the function. So for part A, now if you look, our function is in the form of y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So I just write m equals, well, our slope is the negative 2/3 because it's in front of the x, so negative 2/3, and b is the 4, so b equals 4. Now, part B, we are using the slope and the y-intercept to graph our linear function. So, part B, here's our y-axis, here's our x-axis, let's get a few marks on here. Alright, let's see. Why don't we graph this in green? Alright, our y-intercept is 4, so we go to the y-axis. We count up 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Put a dot on the y-axis. Our slope is negative 2/3. So from that point, we move down 2 units and right 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. We can, from this point, move down 2 units again and write 1, 2, 3. Connecting our dots to form our line. And that's our line for part B. Part C, we are told to determine the domain and range. Let's do this over here. Part C. Alright, domain is where x is defined. Well, if we look at our h of x, it equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. I could plug in positive numbers and I will still get an answer for h of x. If I put negative numbers in for x, I'm still going to get an answer. I can still put 0 in and I will get an answer. So our domain is all real numbers. Now, there are multiple ways of writing this. I could say that x is an element of the reals. That is the shortest way. Okay, I could also say, use set builder notation and say we have a function in x such that x, and then we could put in is an element of the reals. We could write out the words all real numbers. We could also use interval notation. This function, since it's all real numbers, goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. There's our domain. Now the range, is where y is defined. We could say y is an element of the reals. we could once again use the set builder notation and say we have a function for y where y is all in the element of the reals. That means it's all real numbers. I could write out all real numbers. I could also do interval notation. See, because the graph is going to continuously go up and down, and there are values for y equals 0, my range is also from negative infinity to positive infinity. Alright, now let's take a look at part D. Part D says, find the average rate of change. Well, average rate of change means find the slope. They are the same thing. So our slope, which is the average rate of change, is negative 2/3. And last, part E. We are going to determine whether this linear function is increasing, decreasing, or constant. Well, for increasing, that means the line would be going up as we move from left to right. Well, our line is not going up as we move from left to right, so it is not increasing. For it to be decreasing, our line must slant down as we go from left to right. Our line is slanting down as we go from left to right, so ours is decreasing. For it to be a constant function, that means you have a horizontal line. We do not have a horizontal line, so ours cannot be constant. Therefore, decreasing is the answer for choice E. And that is all we have for problem number 18.